if you can't come out tonight, you can still hear from the candidates. We were able to catch up with them before tonight's meet and greet.
They talked to ABC 27 Chantel Navarro about what sets them apart from the rest of the candidates.
Homegrown.
I was born and raised here.
I was born and raised in Tallahassee, Florida.
St. Pete Assistant Police Chief Antonio Gilliam and Major Lawrence Revel both have a Tallahassee connection. It's one that sets them apart from other candidates.
I've spent my entire life here, and I love this town. I've spent 28 years with this department. I never wanted to live anywhere else, never wanted to work anywhere else. And so I have those established relationships with the community and with the officers here at the police department.
I actually grew up on the south side of Tallahassee. So I think coming back home and having a perspective as a citizen of Tallahassee and a law enforcement officer, I think is sort of unique.
Major Lonnie Scott says he brings more experience to the table. With 34 years as an officer and more than 2 decades in leadership, Scott says he's seen it all.
My knowledge, particularly with community-oriented policing, I was a member of the first community-oriented policing team.
Scott hopes to bring what he learned in Gainesville, combined with his experience at TPD, to focus on building community relationships.
I want to rival Publix in the area of service. You know, I want folks, even when we arrest people, there's no reason for us to be nasty. There's no reason for us to not be respectful. Again, these people are the folks that we work for.
Revel says there needs to be a bigger focus on crime right now.
Violent crime is obviously the most important issue we face. So I've got a plan, a strategic plan to address that issue. We will work collaboratively with the other law enforcement agencies in this town.
As for Gilliam's focus, he says there's a need to make sure there are more feet on the ground. Then build bonds.
We need more people, sworn and civilian staff. So that has to be on the forefront of everybody's mind. And second, we have to bridge the gap between the police department and the citizens.
I also asked the 3 candidates that if they think that Revel's officer-involved shooting from 1996 has overshadowed the search for chief, and all 3 of them said no. Gilliam and Scott said that it's just part of the process, and Revel says that if anything, it has solidified that he wants to lead this city. In Tallahassee, Chantel Navarro, ABC 27.
Meanwhile, the Florida Police Chiefs Association is responding to Commissioner Bill Proctor. This after he called for the organization to return $20,000 to the city of Tallahassee, saying FPCA failed to provide background checks on the candidates. Well, the organization confirms that's not the service it agreed to provide. The letter reads in part, quote, "The FPCA does not perform background investigations. Therefore, we were not contracted to do so. We understand that the city has initiated extensive background investigations on the 3 finalists. To do so at this stage of the process is in line and typical of other executive searches, not only in the state of Florida, but throughout the country."